Hey you guys, it's your good guy here, PrinceOnyx, and I was in the middle of recording a video on YouTube, and the thing is, see, this is why I don't really record on YouTube anymore, and I just record my videos through Movie Maker, because with YouTube, a lot of the times with me, and I'm pretty sure other people have been experiencing this too, is that sometimes in the middle of your video, the connection with YouTube will just go out for no apparent reason whatsoever, and that really pisses me off a lot of times, because it's like, especially when I'm going on a passionate a passionate rant, it pisses me off because then it's like I don't remember anything that I said previously. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, you all, that's not really what I'm here to talk about. What I am here to talk about is my Empire Season 2 review for Episode 2, Without a Country. Hold on. Whew. Yeah, so let's go ahead and let's start, shall we? So this episode starts off with Cookie, Andre, and Hakeem leaving Empire. Now, at first, I had thought that all of them had got fired. I thought Hakeem had got dropped. But really, they just pretty much left on their own free will because of what happened in last week's episode with, how Mimi pretty much betrayed them. And just, damn, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, pretty much, what's the point of being in a company that you can't even take over? So it's like they decided to just start their own thing. So pretty much we see like this three-way phone conversation. Well, it's almost like a conference call conversation, but it was like different conversations going on at different times. But you got Cookie pretty much running everything, and Cookie pretty much when she was talking to Hakeem, he just wanted to make sure that they got Tiana and V Bosman to work with them. And Cookie was just like, we got Tiana, but as far as V, no, not so much. And then it's like, the reason why is because V is still working with Anika, and then on top of that, Cookie doesn't want Anika to be in any type of affiliation with the record label that they're starting up. But however, Hakeem tells her otherwise, and he tells her that, oh, Cookie is okay with you being, working with us, but really she's not. And then, Andre, he's not really too sure about this. Whew. I'm sorry, y'all. You know what? Let me turn off this space heater because it's getting a little warm. It's getting too hot. That's probably why my voice is getting a little dry. Alright, let me turn on the fan. Oh, shit. Damn it, y'all. Oh, no. Yeah, I can turn on the fan. Try to cool down up in here because, goddamn. Ooh, that feels a lot better. Oh, shit, my notes. Fuck. I'm going to just have to do like this for my arm right here. Anyway. So yeah, like I was saying, yeah, Andre is not really too sure about doing this at first, but he does it anyway because, it's his mom, and just, he is very hurt behind this whole thing. Like, he's still tripping over the fact that Jamal, out of all three of them, is running Empire when Andre has spent his entire life, he has spent his entire life working his ass off to show Lucius that he is worth running Empire. But I feel like Andre could never really run Empire because, with him having bipolar disorder, it's a flight risk in a sense because you never know what you're gonna get with him. Like, there could be times where he's okay and everything makes logical sense, and everything is calm, and then there's times where it could be a fucking cold red and you got him throwing a tantrum, or he's just, making irate, illogical decisions that put the company in, in a bad business standing. So it's a bit of a flight risk if he were to run Empire. You know what I'm saying? So it sucks that he could never really do it due to his mental illness. And I feel like no matter how much Andre may have it under control, because I low-key feel like he's not taking his pills. I feel like he's not taking his pills, you guys, and so it's like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like he wasn't taking his pills, but I feel like he's still not taking his medication. That's just me, so I mean, I don't really know, but anyway, child, you don't have to wait. So anyway, what else happened? Oh yeah, so then we see that the three of them are at Ghetto Ass Studios, and pretty much Cookie is just saying that, just like what Lucius did with Empire, we can do the same with this label, which they have yet to name until the end of the episode. But you know what? I'm gonna just go ahead and just get to that part anyway. Pretty much, the name of the label is Lions Dynasty, and that came from I think the room that Cookie is working in, because the guy who owns Ghetto Ass Studios, he had took Cookie to his room and showed her like where they had like a whole bunch of storage and boxes and shit like that. And he said she can, you know, rent out this space for, you know, their record label or whatever, because she wanted to have Ghetto Ass Studios be like their primary spot for doing all of their recording. So, you know, so pretty much he had said something about Dynasty. The word Dynasty came up, and it gave Cookie the idea on what to call their label, because they didn't know what to call it exactly. They didn't have a name for it. So, you know, they ended up doing that. Next, we see V Bosman is recording a new song, and Anika is there, you know, with the engineer, and, you know, she's saying the song is good, and then she tries to tell V what to do with the song, but it's like, Anika, you might want to stay in your place, because B, she's the artist. She knows how the song is supposed to go. She knows how the melody is supposed to go, the hook, the bridge, you know, she knows how the shit is supposed to go. It's like, Anika, I get where you were trying to go, but it's like, I understand why V caught an attitude from one artist to another. She knows how the fuck the song is supposed to go. So you talking about, oh, how about we tweak this a little bit? How about we do? No, I know how the song is supposed to go. So I can understand why she got mad. Anyway, next we see that Cookie comes in and she lets Anika know that she is also managing V. So again, it's like Cookie knows when it comes to music, Cookie knows what to do. Now, as far as business, because again, she was in jail for 17 years, so the business side is not quite there yet. But, you know, when it comes to music, she knows what to do. So it's best to just let Cookie handle the artist, and you just handle the business and the marketing. You handle the business, she handles the music, and everybody is happy. So, next we then see Lucius is in jail in the clinic, but the doctor unfortunately cannot give him his meds due to like some paperwork or whatever. So he tells him to contact his lawyer, but Lucius seriously needs this medicine. So then we see next we skip to Jamal, who's working on some new music, singing a new song, and he's on this TV show, this like fictional TV show that is hosted by none other than Sharon Carpenter, who is a big time she's not a blogger, a journalist. There we go. I don't know why I wanted to say. Then again, I think she is a bit of a blogger and a journalist. I remember Sharon Carpenter from the show Gossip Talk or whatever it was called, the show about the female radio personalities that was on VH1. It was a good show. None of the ladies are coming. They all. It was like all unanimously decided that none of them were going to come back for season 2, because it's like, one, with reality TV, it's like, you know, and the show was executively produced by Mona Scott Young. I mean, come on now. But yeah, they had Angela Yee on there, they had Jazz Fly, Kay Fox, they had different people on there. But it was unanimous. None of them they decided not to come back for a season 2. And it's like, I was hoping that they would come back for just one more season, but you know what, it is what it is. You know, they got more exposure brought to them and the radio stations where they are, and it's like, you know, it is what it is. It was it was interesting to do and interesting to look at, but that's another story for another time. So anyway, yeah, so he's being interviewed by Sharon Carpenter, and they talk about a new album, and they also bring up Lucius being in jail and other things. But then in comes Cookie, and she just pretty much, you know, sort of interrupts everything because she needs to talk to Jamal one-on-one. So her and Jamal talk, and, you know, pretty much she just wants him to give Hakeem his album back. But of course Jamal doesn't want to, but he tells her that he's going to do it anyway or whatever. And so, you know, they pretty much do that, and she just lets him know that, you know, she can tell that Lucius is just trying to make Jamal into another version of him. So it's like, you know, she can see right through this glass house that's being built. You know what I'm saying? So, next, pretty much, you know, he takes his mom back to the elevator, and she, you know, gets on the elevator and is about to leave when she drops that bombshell. She was like, you know, I just want to tell you this before the streets tell you, but we're running our own label. And he had the Jamal's face, he just dropped like like I can't really do it because it's so funny. I can't really do it. But like, he just had the straight face like, what? Like, how dare you do this to me? Like, man, talk about being stabbed in the back. But then again, you kind of bought this on yourself because you stabbed them in the back with that whole backdoor deal with Mimi. So you kind of stabbed them in the back. So, oh well, get over it. Anyway, on the jail court, some of Lucius's guys are talking, and then they ask Lucius to perform, and he begins rapping. Then we meet this CO correctional officer who was played by Ludacris. We never know the guy's name, but he overhears them, and Lucius then begins having a bad coughing attack, coughing and wheezing because like he hasn't taken his meds in a while. Then you got the CO who just pretty much goes overboard, and he's like, "Oh, this ain't y'all house, this is my house," yada yada yada, blah blah blah. But all in actuality, the CO is actually in cahoots with the CO is actually in cahoots with the prosecutor who's trying to become the, I think, state attorney or whatever the position is that she's trying to go for. He's in cahoots with her. So, he of course is going to single out Lucius and his guys for absolutely no reason. You know what I'm saying? But see, the other guards are it's guards who are cool with Lucius, and then there are guards like the CO that we saw who are clearly being, they are being paid off by this state attorney, district attorney, whatever her position is. They're being paid off by her to target Lucius and his guys, but more so they're being paid off to target Lucius. So we learn about that later down the line in the episode. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, what else happens? Oh yeah, next we have our Hakeem, who is auditioning girls to be a part of this girl group that he's trying to make, kind of like a 2015 version of Destiny's Child, if you will. So a young Latina girl comes in and she sings, and she's really good. But the only problem is she does not want to be a part of a group. She prefers to be a solo act. But Hakeem is just like, yeah, it is what it is. So next. Anyway, Andre comes in and just tells Hakeem that he knows better and that he should have contacted Cookie and him about this first, because he shouldn't just be making moves all willy-nilly without letting them know first. Seeing as though this is, they're trying to run this company together, then you have to let them know. It's like basic business protocol, business 101 type shit. Anyway, Cookie is all for it. She likes the idea of the girl group. It is what it is. Pretty much like Cookie is like pretty much down for almost anything. So it's like she can pretty much give the approval to, a lot of stuff. So she isn't really too bothered about that. Whereas Andre, he wants Hakeem to focus more on finishing this album, because all he has to do is one more song and then he's good. But Cookie actually wants Hakeem and Tiana to link up and do another song, and that could be a single for, I think, either his next project, or that could be a single for her project, or that could be like a single for his album, or whatever the case is. Oh, excuse me. Next we see Lucius is talking to the CO that's played by Ludacris, and he just lets him know that if the CO lets him know that the state attorney, whatever, he basically broke it down to Lucius and let him know that if Lucius cooperates, then he can get his meds. Because basically what they're doing is illegal, because they're withholding Lucius from getting his meds. So clearly I think she must have went in there and had somebody mess with Lucius's paperwork and get rid of the documents that show that he needs his medication. I think that's what happened, because all of a sudden, how can he go from getting his meds to now not getting them? So it's a lot of shiesty, underhanded shade going on behind the scenes. Anyway, Lucius ends up just going to his cell and just calling it a day. Next we see Cookie is talking to Hakeem about working on a song with Tiana, as I mentioned earlier. And he wants to focus more so on his girl group, and he's thinking of calling it Rainbow Sensation. And everybody in the room just looked at him like, what? Like Rainbow Sensation? What the hell? But the idea behind it is like a multicultural girl group. So it's like, his idea is to have like one black, one white, and then one Latino. But he has two Latinos and one white. And I think he's trying to make it more than a 3-girl group, but it's like he wants to make it a multicultural thing. But Cookie says that that's okay that he has 2 Latina girls, because as long as they are good singers and can be like J-Lo, then everything's all right. Pretty much. Next, let's see. Oh yeah. Also, I think because I didn't get a chance to write it down, because again the transitions were too fast. They were too fast. But I think in that scene also Anika had walked in, and she was pretty much talking to them or whatever, and of course Cookie was against it, and she was just like, for real, like she was just like, what is she doing here? It is what it is. And of course Anika just let Hakeem know that yeah, she was like, I like the idea, but not the name. And then, her and Cookie had a little back and forth, and Cookie was just letting Anika know that if it wasn't for women like her who are hustlers and ride or die, that, that Anika would just be another chick on her knees, giving up that neck, if you know what I mean. So, she just pretty much kind of put her in her place or whatever. Next, we have Jamal, who is meeting with Lucius, and he tells him that, he will give Hakeem his album back. However, Lucius says Hakeem can get his album if he comes back to Empire. So it's like, don't just give him his album just because, your mother asked you to do that. No, he has to come back in order to get his album. So then, in the midst of this, they are met by a lawyer named Thirsty. And to be honest with y'all, I feel like I know that actor from somewhere, some movie, some TV show. He looks very familiar. But anyway, they meet this lawyer named Thirsty, who gives them his card, and of course he isn't supposed to do that. Then he goes to their table and begins talking to them until he is then escorted out. But before he gets escorted out, he lets Lucius and Jamal know that the CO, that's played by Ludacris, and the state attorney, the prosecutor, they are in cahoots with each other. So he knows this. Next we have Tiana is rehearsing a new song, and I love it. And the choreography is everything, and the reggae vibe, I love it. It was a cute, nice song. I like it. Hakeem walks in, and then they begin talking about the collaboration that they're supposed to work on. And he, however, wants her to join his girl group, but Tiana, she wants to be a solo act. And so she just, lets him know and let Cookie know that, if this is how we gonna run things, I'm not too sure about this. But Cookie takes her to the side and just pretty much lets her know, go wait in my office because I want to talk to you about something. So then we see that Hakeem, he goes outside and he is met by Jamal, who pretty much tells him that he wants him back at Empire, and only him, not Cookie or Andre. Cookie walks outside and sees this, and Jamal pretty much presses the button and pulls up the window. I'm telling y'all, Jamal is really becoming unlikable this season because he's becoming his father, and it's like, when will he wake up and realize this? He's becoming his father, and it's like, then again, y'all have seen the episode. So with next week's episode, with Lucius being back home, he's out on bail. My thing is this: I feel as though I feel like at some point in this season, Lucius is going to take back everything from Jamal. I feel like he's going to pull some real shady, shiesty shit. He's going to pull the rug from under Jamal, and Jamal is going to then see what everybody else was telling him this whole time. But anyway, we'll get to that. That's another story that's another bridge that we're going to have to cross when we get there. So, and then he also pretty much tells him that if he comes back to Empire, that they will release his album. So, it's kind of like, you come back with us, we're going to release your album, and we're going to do it big. You already know. So, pretty much, later we see Hakeem is with the Latina girl from earlier, and he pretty much, they're in a jacuzzi hot tub, and he tells her that he's going back to Empire, and she was like, oh, well, if you do your girl group on Empire, then I will most likely, do that. I can come and join you guys then, because Empire is a big group. So, hold on. So next we see Rhonda is at Jamal's place, and she pretty much she isn't supposed to be there because of the whole thing that's going on, but she just lets him know that Andre is miserable, and she practically begs and pleads Jamal to take him back. And Jamal says that he misses him and that he'll possibly take him back or whatever, put him back on Empire. And Rhonda just reveals to Jamal that she is pregnant, which is why she isn't drinking. And Jamal is excited because he's gonna be an uncle. So there you have it. Rhonda, however, she has other plans, because when they had hugged it out, you can see on her face, her facial expressions had changed for a quick second, and it was just like a raised eyebrow, like, I got this motherfucker, he just a sucker, he don't know that we got a plan. Anyway, next we see that Lucius is he's in the clinic again, due to his bad coughing and wheezing, and he ends up getting his meds, a courtesy of his new lawyer, Thirsty. So, then he is taken to a room that turns out to be a recording studio where he records a new song. And then all of a sudden the crew, because they only got like 65 minutes before the shift changes and before the corrupt CEO comes. But they, the CEO, he pretty much, him and his boys bum rush the room and pretty much, take everybody to the hold and lock them up or whatever. And him and Lucius talking, Lucius just let him know that he's not scared of him. So he just letting him know that, in other words, Lucius just pretty much, indiscreetly, Lucius just let him know that, you may think that you got me scared, intimidated, and all that other stuff, but even within jail, I still can run things on the outside of jail. And if not, he knows people that can take care of unnecessary problems such as him, which we find out later because the CO ends up getting beat up by these guys who were sent by Thirsty. And on top of that, after they beat him up, they took the laptop that has Lucius's they take Lucius's laptop, the laptop that has Lucius's song on it, so it ends up getting played on the radio, and that happens a little bit later as well. So, then we see that Cookie is meeting with Andre when Hakeem comes in, and, pretty much Andre lets Hakeem know that he actually likes the idea of the girl group. And, pretty much Hakeem says that he's not going to go back to Empire, and that's that. And on top of that, he pulls a bootleg Beyonce move, if you will, and he leaks his album onto the internet, which could be considered illegal in some cases because the album is still on Empire's label. The album is not with Hakeem and Cookie and them. And Andre gets pissed off and he's just like, you know what, I can't do this anymore, and he just leaves because he's not really because he's not really as invested or interested in Empire as he was when he's not really interested or invested in this new label as he is more invested and interested in Empire. You know what I'm saying? So he pretty much leaves, and Cookie tries to beg and plead him not to, but he does it anyway. And she sheds a little tear, but it is what it is. So next we see the owner of the studio. As I mentioned earlier, he showed Cookie this room, and he mentioned something about Dynasty, and then that gave Cookie the idea for the name of the label, Lions Dynasty. So next we end up seeing Lucius meeting with Andre, which is surprising, and Andre just lets him know that he regrets what he did, and he pretty much begs and pleads to be taken back. And Lucius just does not want to take him back. And pretty much he asked Andre, do you still go to church? And Andre said yes. And Lucius said, well, good, because you can pray to God because he'll forgive you because I don't. And he just walks off. And then Andre pretty much bears his soul to him. And he's just like, you're looking at me like I'm some type of mutant, and just, you treating me this way, and da-da-da-da-da. And then Lucius ends up having a flashback, and we see Kelly Rowland, who plays his mother, and she was singing Lucius the Itsy Bitsy Spider song, and in the midst of it, she ends up freezing and pausing, and at first I thought she was dying, or I thought she was having like some type of medical attack, but then I sort of put two and two together, and I think what Lee Daniels is insinuating with the writing, I think that Andre got his, I believe y'all can correct me on this if I'm wrong, but I believe that bipolar disorder can be passed down through families. I believe that it can, but y'all can correct me on that if I'm wrong. I don't want to be giving out wrong information. Correct me on that if I'm wrong. But I believe that Andre got his bipolar disorder from his grandmother, from Lucius's mother, and I believe that it skipped Lucius and it got Lucius's kid. It got the generations after Lucius. Because the way that she was, it was almost like she was about to become another person. Because it's almost like something was going on in her head while she was singing to Lucius. So, yeah, man, it was just, I don't know. I get that feeling that that's where Andre got his bipolar disorder from, and I feel like, that's why they showed us the flashback. You know what I'm saying? So, I feel like that's what they were insinuating with the writing, that's where he got it from. But yeah, that was just, that was something interesting that I picked up on. So then we have Lucius, Lucius pretty much lets Andre know that he does not hate him at all. It is what it is, and he just walks off, and Andre is all sad and miserable and just, all broken and damaged, because he's really hurt on the inside, you know what I'm saying? So, So next we have Hakeem, who is at Jamal's place, and Jamal is like, you know, rehearsing, playing a new song that he's we're just singing a new song that he's been working on, and pretty much they begin talking, and Hakeem just lets him know that he leaked the album, and Jamal lets him know that he is going to sue him, and you know he's going to basically legally come after him, and that's that. And you know, of course, Hakeem, he pretty much gloats about it. It is what it is. You know, he got the clout, so it's like it is what it is. You know, he gloats about it, so he don't really care. And he lets him know that the name of the label is Lions Dynasty, and of course, you know, Jamal's like, oh, that shit is whack, yada yada yada, blah blah blah. So then we see Cookie is cleaning up the space that they now own, or renting to own, and Hakeem comes in and he pretty much helps her with it, and then they end up hearing Lucius's new song on the radio, because again the laptop got taken and it got placed in the hands of Thirsty, who, you know, did what he did with the song. So next we see Lucius and Jamal and the prosecutor bitch in the courtroom having at the parole hearing, and Thirsty comes in and he gives the evidence. He gives the evidence to the judge, but really it's blackmailing the judge, because the judge is an undercover freak and clearly he's on the down low and he's like into S&M and all this other freaky deaky shit. And you know, pretty much, you know, because the judge don't want his business out there, he lets Lucius out on a $1 million bill, which you already know they gonna pay that instantly. So you know, he's out on bail, and now that he's out, you know, it's Lucius and Jamal against everybody. So ooh, this shit is about to get turned up and it's about to get crazy, and that is all I got for now. I may do the Rose. I'm really debating on it, y'all. I might do the Rosewood review after I put this up. I might do it. I'm debating on it, but yeah. So that is all for this video. I hope you guys enjoy it. Please comment, share, subscribe. You know what to do. Leave comments in the description box. I love having conversations with you guys. Let's talk. And that is all. Peace. Hey.